The Jeep Wrangler is a very popular vehicle that was originally introduced in the 1940s and also served a practical purpose early on in the beginning of World War II. In June of 1940, with World War II on the horizon, the U.S. Army solicited bids from 135 automakers for a quarter-ton lightweight reconnaissance vehicle tailored to Army specifications. Only 3 companies responded: Bantam, Willys, and Ford, but within a year's time, they collectively produced the template for the vehicle known worldwide today as Jeep. Willys Overland delivered the prototype to the U.S. Army in November of 1940. The design was completed in just a remarkable 75 days. Only 2 prototypes were made, the Willys MA and the Willys MB. It was considered the stuff of legends. The U.S. Army requested a vehicle and they drove off in a hero. The Willys, its spirit, forged by the fire of combat, honed in on the heat of battle, and it seared its way into the heart of warriors fighting for freedom. Fierce emotional bonds often developed between a soldier and his Jeep. In 1941, Willys MA was the original model. The Willys MB came to follow. The Willys MA featured a gear shift on the steering column, low side body cutouts, 2 circular instrument clusters on the dashboard, and a handbrake to the left side. Willys struggled to reduce the weight of the new Army vehicle to meet the specifications of 2,160 pounds, so nuts and bolts were shortened along with lighter panels in order to produce a lighter version of the quad. Items were removed from the MA, but then later brought back to the next generation MB, resulting in a final weight of approximately just over 400 pounds above the specifications. After lots of testing, Willys was awarded the contract in July of 1941, and it called for the production of 16,000 revised MB models sold at a unit price of just $738. Most of the MAs were sent to the United States allies in Russia and England under the Lend-Lease program. Improvements to the Willys MA over the quad included a handbrake, single-piece steering wheel, rounded door cutouts, 2 circular mounted instrument clusters, and a steering column mounted to gear shifts. MBs could be loaded into transport aircraft for rapid deployment and were also small enough to fit into large gliders used in the D-Day invasion of Europe. Over the course of the war, customized field kits were developed for winter and desert conditions, deep water fording, and other combat needs. So the Jeep was a very adaptable vehicle, just like it is today. The tough, simple Jeep brand became the GI's best friend, second only to his rifle. One MB was even awarded the Purple Heart and sent home. General George C. Marshall, U.S. Army Chief of Staff during World War II and later U.S. Secretary of State, described the Jeep brand as America's greatest contribution to modern warfare. This is listed off of the Jeep's website itself. Script Howard during World War II once said, "It did everything. It went everywhere. It was as faithful as a dog, as strong as a mule, and as agile as a goat. It constantly carried twice what it was designed for and still kept going. It was a reliable ally to a lot of the GIs, and they credit that for it being a big part of them making it home." The mighty Willys MB emerged out of a cauldron of war, and people back home were seeking a similar vehicle. According to Willys Overland, there were 5.5 million farmers in the U.S., and of those, more than 4 million neither had a truck nor tractor. The rugged and versatile CJ was marketed by Willys as the all-around farm workhorse. It could do the job of 2 heavy-duty draft horses operating at a speed of 4 miles per hour, 10 miles a day, without overheating the engine. So this vehicle became the first of many for civilian purposes used back home in the United States. The CJ3A is considered to be by many the father of recreational vehicles. Introduced in late 1948, the CJ3A was very similar to previous models, but included more modern things like a one-piece windshield and bottom vent and dual bottom-mounted wipers. A more robust transmission, transfer case, and beefier rear axle made this vehicle more adaptable. During the 60s, 70s, and 80s, these vehicles just became better and better. Leading up until 1997 is when Jeep became well known for its brand and its model known as the TJ. It offered outstanding capabilities on off-road handling as well as on-road. The all-new 1997 Jeep Wrangler was the 5th Jeep brand awarded the 4x4 of the Year award. From the transition of the 1997 Jeep Wrangler came several other models. With each new model, they became more and more advanced, but the basic platform of the Jeep Wrangler was still there. The biggest engineering change to the TJ was the new quad coil suspension, and that suspension just got better and better over time. So fast forward to the 90s and 2000s, our Jeeps are still a very well-known brand today. Not only are they used in several sort of Jeep off-road clubs, they're also used as recreational vehicles. Fire departments will use them, police officers will use them, as they're very versatile to go on-road as well as off-road to meet conditions needed for their purpose. So originally dating back to the 1940s, these vehicles became a GI's most reliable ally in war, and they quickly became a partner's most reliable vehicle back home as well. So we still enjoy these vehicles today, and men and women alike would agree to that. Thanks.